Hello, hello, Facebook family. Elevate, Facebook Live, Brenda Gray's interview, December 22nd, 2022. I hope you guys had a good day. I hope you guys' day was better than mine. I guess it's one of those days where I say, you know what? A live dog is better than a dead lion. So anyway, it's one of those kind of days that, you sit there and say a lot of cuss words, sometimes out loud, sometimes more in your mind. But we did make it through this day. So very excited about our interview today. It cuts close to the heart. I can't wait to share Brenda, Mother Brenda, to me, Greg, with you. But before we go there, we're going to do our housekeeping. So, like I said, thanks for joining you. Most of you know me. I'm Curtis Carr. I'm the founder of E.L.E.V.A.T.E. E.L.E.V.A.T.E is a leadership consulting company. E.L.E.V.A.T.E is acronym: expectations, leadership, ethics, vision, attitude, temperaments, and effectiveness. And what we do is we coach, we train, we impact. I can promise you that progress will be made. I mean, I know there's companies out there that say things. I will promise you, if you stick with us, progress will be made and you'll be satisfied and impressed and overwhelmed with the progress. My wife and I run this company. And what's that? That's let me cut out the back air now just for a second. But uh, so my wife is a business analyst during the day, project manager, and then at night she's an entrepreneur with a business called Cupcake and a Smile. That's really the day and night. Really, it's not really. They all kind of blend together. Cupcakeandasmile.com. So very excited about today. We're not going to do the jokes because I wanted to make sure that we had time to do this interview and to ask all the questions that I want to ask. So I wanted to make sure that we don't cut short on time and really cut short on the impact. I want to put the names on. Let me switch here to the names here so I can see who's on. Aunt Stephanie, good to see you. Mom and Dad, good to see you. Anybody else is on, please type your name on so we can see you. All we see is numbers on our side. We don't necessarily know who's on unless they comment. So please comment. But, I always have a little part. I have a little outline to these broadcasts, and on the outline, it'll say shout out to. And my shout out today is to, hey, Aunt Linda, good to see you. My shout out to is to Mother Brenda Grace. I've been very fortunate. And, sometimes I know for decades, and I know this sounds bad, but I'm going to say this out loud. For decades, I took it for granted. I've been fortunate. I came out of a home where my parents loved me. They gave me whatever I wanted. They taught me that you got to work for things. They taught me principles that I live by today. I was surrounded by uncles and aunts that loved me. Nobody touched me inappropriately. Nobody beat me, slapped me, hurt me. Um, I had things that my friends didn't have. I was able to basically matriculate through life without any major problems. I'm one of those guys that all the major problems I've had in life, I created. So, but I really can't blame that on anybody. And then because I had such a good family, uncles and aunts, grandparents, I had such a good family that when I made the mistakes, I can go to those people and basically whine and cry about my bad decisions. But at the end of the day, looking back, I've been very fortunate. And one of those fortunate events in my life is Mother Brenda. I am so impressed with Mother Brenda. I mean this from the heart. You just don't find people like this. I've worked with thousands of people, and it's just not a lot of people like Mother Brenda. I will say the only other person in my immediate circle that's a lot similar to me, and I always say Aunt Sister, and of course her daughter. Of course, they got the same spirit. They talk 50 times a day. So, but they just are just extraordinary people. Um, and one of the traits I love the most about them is that they've been through things, but they don't get bitter. I mean, you would not think they've been through anything in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but you just don't think because their attitude is so good. their work ethic is so strong, and and I'm surrounded by great people. I mean, I have aunts that I get on both sides that I wouldn't trade, for the world. I have uncles that have helped me and talked to me. I have my parents. I have people in my life. I've had people professionally, mentors that help shape me, and I'm very thankful for those people. But at the end of the day, at this stage of my life, um, very reflective and very appreciative. And I said, man, I would love to do an interview. And it was really started because of an interview that Mother Brenda did, and we're going to get into that. And I went through and I read all the answers she gave during the interview. We posted it on.
I put the link in
Okay,
the
so she put the link in the comments. It says show. Should I hit show? On my side, it says show. So now it says hide. So I don't know. But anyway, so I was like, man, we need to get her on. You know. So anyway, I'm gonna put her on, and before I'm gonna turn on the mic, Mother Brenda, but I'm gonna put you on the screen. But I wanted to make sure that if you have questions, you could always chime in, and if I see some questions, I'll try to get them in. But um, let's see. Let me get her on here. All right, Mother Brenda. Let me turn your mic on. How you doing today?
Howdy.
All right. So I
That's
wanted to
how
say a couple.
we
What's that?
we say howdy.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Okay. I got you. I don't say howdy though, but I
Well,
got
when you're in Aggie land, you drink the Kool-Aid.
you. Okay. Got you. Got you. I was telling people, of course you could hear, but I was telling people how I'm impressed with you, and it's just I felt like I really came out ahead. I don't know how to say that without sounding selfish, but I really came out ahead. I married Shar, and then I remember when we met. I came over here, and we you were cooking, and you were cooking one of the favorite meals for your grandkids, and of course, like you gave me some, and I can just tell, you're one of those kind of people. So, I mean, when I think of you, I think of words like authentic, hardworking, committed, dependable, fun, loyal, caring, wise,
Well,
loving, accepting, consistent. I can go on, but we only have 21 more minutes. So I wanted to ask you some questions, and I wanted you to just share from your heart. Now I know you worked at Teeks. Yes, where you work now. You've been there for 18 years, which is a part of the Texas A&M system. Overall, you've been with Texas A&M system for over 23 years, which is a training provider for DHS FEMA, right? Uh,
yes,
so you guys train emergency management, cybersecurity, physical and critical infrastructure, firemen and policemen worldwide.
yes,
So that's why you were in New York not too long ago, right? You know?
yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yes. I was
Okay.
at the conference there where we were
So
promoting programs.
gotcha. So when you hear this introduction about you, what words go through your mind? What thoughts go through your mind?
Well, I'm just grateful, and I'm grateful to you. You have truly been a blessing to our family as well, and I'm just grateful that God has given me an opportunity to reinvent myself and to do some things that I never dreamed of. I mean, being recognized and being able to serve my community, with the food bank and the Girl Scouts, and being able to be a service to others is really near and dear to my heart. I feel like that's my purpose is to be able to help someone and to be able to share my life's experience in hopes that someone will recognize that if it's something that they're going through, that they can always make it.
Right.
Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and trusting God to and believing and trusting that He will provide and give you everything that you need. That is my sounding board.
Gotcha. So on this interview that you did with I Start Wondering, it's called
Yeah.
I Start Wondering. Can you tell us about that organization?
Yes, I started wondering is a group of middle-aged women, anywhere from 50 to, I want to say, 68 or so, somewhere in there. And it started with Dorian Martin, who was a previous supervisor, a coworker first, and then she became my supervisor. And then she went on, after our organization dissolved. She went on to get her master's and doctorate's degree, and we remained friends. And she included and invited me to be a part of I Started Wondering. And these group of women are range from anywhere from being a doctor to school teachers to, I mean, it runs the gamut of different experiences that these women bring to the table. And it's a way that we can reach out to other women out there that might be experiencing some things in life, and um, have an opportunity to read some of the articles that are written. And I Started Wondering. And so I've had the opportunity to write a few of those articles myself. And it's just sharing experiences, and hoping that you can, get to someone that might be reading the article, and able to resonate with what's going on with them.
Okay. So I'm going to read the first paragraph in this article. I'm not going to go through. It's a quick read though altogether. It's about 2 pages, you guys, if you guys want to click on it and read it. But it really captivates you. It says, "I am a woman who has reinvented herself. I am hardworking, driven, enthusiastic, and friendly. I have faced many challenges from teenage pregnancy to being a woman who has not allowed society to determine who I am by stigmatizing me because of my race, my education level, etc. I am passionate about my purpose, which is helping and serving others. No matter what problem arises, I can find a solution. I would describe myself as an open and honest person who tries to be fair in everything I do. I learn lessons from the worst days." So I wanted to go back. It's all good. We could spend the next 15, 20 minutes just talking about that paragraph. But I wanted to go back to I am a woman who's has reinvented herself. What do you mean by that?
When I say I'm a woman that has reinvented myself, is, I grew up as a teenage mother. I lost my mom at the age of 25. I had a 10-year-old that I looked at that little girl and I said, I've got to take care of her the rest of my life. And at the time my mom died, I was working at IBM, and I worked at IBM for 15 years, and left IBM and went to Dell. But, working for corporate America, I did not have a college degree. I did not have any education other than my high school education. That was all I had. All I had was myself. So, given an opportunity to, um, what am I trying to say? I was given an opportunity to play with the big dogs, if you will. I started in a typing pool, and I worked my way up to the general manager's office, and just doing the best that I could, and others giving me an opportunity. And it's, being a black woman in a place like IBM, and was able to work my way up, wasn't always easy. I had to learn how to play the game. Some people don't want to learn how to play the game, but it is a game. And if you learn how to play the game, they'll let you play. But when I left IBM and when I left Dell, and I went to work for a computer consulting company, and then I married and moved to College Station. And that's where my reinventing myself happened. Um, because I came to, um, what do you say, A&M America, corporate America, because that's what it is. I mean, it's A&M, and M, and I was able to come into a university and start all over. And in doing so, I started working in the community of Brazos Valley Food Bank, from being on a board member to being the president of the food bank, president of Executive Women of Texas Government. And I just put myself in positions and around positive people that um, that I fed off of, that helped me and that supported me and things that I wanted to do. And as I continued to do those things, I grew, and I never thought that I would do any of those things. Now I'm a Zumba instructor. I always took did exercise and took care of myself. Now I do Mary Kay, and I've done, I've spoke to young groups of people that, I didn't realize I had that in me. But somebody else, when someone else sees something in you and they're able to help steer you in that right direction, it just happens. You just got to be ready for it. And you don't know, you got to be ready, stay ready to be ready to stay ready, or however they say that, but you just have to be ready and willing and accepting to take whatever is given to you. And you don't always have to say yes, but opportunity is saying yes. So
Okay.
in those ways, that's how I reinvented myself, and things just started happening and falling into place.
So I like to always ask this question. So if you had a day to spend with one famous person, who would that person be and why?
Ayanna Van Zant. Uh,
Okay.
Zant is one woman who went through hell and high water, and she was at the top at one time. She lost her business, she lost her husband, and she pulled herself up by the bootstraps, and she was able to turn herself around. And the reason I love her so much is because um, that's what she does. She reaches out and she helps others. She tells it like it is. There's no she has that book that she talks about. Um, the name of the book is um, I forget the name of the book, but one day my soul just opened up, where she
No.
just talks about being real with herself and all the things that were going on with her. She no matter what came at her, she was able to work herself out of it. And
Right.
she has such a high spirit. She's so inspiring, and I would love to spend the day with her. And she is another person I would love to spend the day with. And I did um, get to see him live, and that's Dr. Stephen Covey, who's no longer with us, but Dr. Stephen Covey and his books, where he talks about personal uh, advancement and the 7 habits of highly effective people. Those are two people that I really admire, and being a facilitator in the 7 habits of highly effective people, it's those habits are, you can't do all those habits at one time. You take them one bite at a time, but they can be relevant in your life wherever you are, whatever you choose to be, or whatever you need to be. Though one of those 7 habits will help you get through.
Yeah, that's so true because even in, where I work, there's very few meetings where you'll sit through a meeting and you won't hear one of his 7 habits mentioned. Now, they might not say, they'll just say, hey, be proactive. Well, that's one of the 7 habits. Now, I'm not saying he came up with all the ideas, but he did summarize everything in such a way and put it in such a way where it flows easy. And
Yeah,
I know we had one of my friends was going through getting his master's degree in education at UT, and he had to study that book. That's saying a lot.
yeah.
I just bought a copy of that book for one of my guys, and it said 40 million copies sold. I was just like, wow, that's strong. That's strong.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: if you could go, let me ask you this other one first. What nugget of wisdom would you give to the young people today?
Is to be their authentic self. Nobody is better than you. They might have a better skill set, they might be able to dance better, they might be able to cook better or whatever, but nobody is better than you. And you are who you are because God made you that way. And there's nobody better than you. You're great. And also talk to them about education. Education is good. If you can go get your college education, that's fantastic. Education will get you into the next door. But speaking from myself, education to me is life's experience. you have experience and you learn each and every day. You, from job to job, whatever it is, you should captivate and uh, try and gain as much knowledge and skill as you can wherever you are. And if you can get your education, that's great. And to live on purpose, to find what your purpose is. Whatever you like to do could be your purpose. That could be your education. So, with me, I love to do Zumba. So I learn as much as I can about, get educated on Zumba so that I can serve my purpose, and that's to help others get healthy, and to be healthy. So those are two nuggets that I have: to be your authentic self, and then your education can be your experience or whatever your purpose is at that time.
Okay. Now, if you can go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Jamaica, baby.
Jamaica. Your daughter over here rolled her eyes. She's like, all you have to do is say "ja," and then she starts getting excited. You don't have to hear the makeup part. She gets excited to Jamaica.
I'm
So,
ready for a nice vacation. I'm off right now, but I really, I think I just told my daughter that recently. I want to take a trip to Jamaica. I don't want to go on a boat or go on a cruise or anything. To get there, I want to fly over there and just have the whole experience.
right. So, what is it most? What's most important thing for you to concentrate on the years ahead?
Concentrating on things ahead are just, just to continue to be grateful and to love, um, and um, retire. I would like to when I retire, I still would like to, since exercising and health and beauty are my key nuggets that have brought me this far. I would like to be able to start a business where there's health and beauty, and continue my professional speaking. Those are the things that I would like to do for the future when I retire. That's where I'm headed, and I have those things in place right now that I like to continue to grow in. So when I do retire, I can do that.
Gotcha. So, I know you're in a leadership role at your job, and I'd like to ask you a few questions on leadership. Do you think anybody can be a leader?
Leadership is learned. Um, it's not taught. You have to have the leader in you. You have to. I clearly think that you have to be a people person to lead, because when the going gets tough and you have employees that you have to lead and that you have to manage. A leader and a manager, there's a little difference there. But when you're trying to lead, say, a program or a project or whatever it is that you have to do, you have to make that connection with those employees. If your employees like you, they'll do what's best for you. They'll conquer the world for you. But you have to empower your employees, to have trust, and to be able to let them do it the way they do it, not the way you do it, because the way you do it is the way you do it. If they can still get the job done the way they do it or know how to do it, then let them run with it. As long as they're keeping you informed of what's going on, but you have to empower your employees to do and be the best they can be.
Okay. Yeah, it is funny you say that because one of my major gripes when I work with people is that especially when I was working for somebody else, is that they want you to be them for the most. I see a lot of that.
Right,
Let's say they're John the leader, they want to make you John Junior. Yeah, let's say, you're like, man, I'm just not like you, and they try to. I guess and it's to me, it's one of the ultimate weaknesses in leadership. So my philosophy is a lot different. I'm just trying to get a result, and I want you to be you. Now,
right,
how you get there? Hey, we can talk through it. Don't do nothing illegal. Don't do nothing immoral. But we need
right,
the end result. You know, uh,
right.
I get criticized at my job because of my style, because they want me to yell and cuss. I just don't yell and cuss at folk because I don't want nobody yelling and cussing at me.
Right.
That's me. I just think it's bad. I just think it's bad. But I work with a lot of men, and I got guys I work with that think that way, that they gotta think like them to be successful, instead of letting the person see what the end line is, what the end game is, and then use their skills to get to the end. I hope that
Right.
makes sense. That's so when you said that, I really that touched one of my little things that frustrates me in life. Let me ask
Right.
you this: what does great you kind of answered this one? What does great leadership look like? What would make you a better leader? What do you think would make you a better leader?
Um, to listen more. To I manage college students, and college students, as you know, anyone that's been to college go through a lot. And so one of the things I try and do is connect with them once a week about how they're doing, what's going on, you know, how do you see the project going? Is there anything you want to do different? And just listen to them, because I tell you, the younger people, the younger generation, they figure it out quick. They know, they know they have computer skills that are way above and beyond what I can do. They can do it faster, they can do it quicker, and you listen to them on their ideas, and then you let them run. You listen and you let them do the things that they need to do. So being a listener, I think, is one of the things that would help me listen more. I would say just listen more to what the younger generation has to bring to the table. Give them a seat at the table. Let them speak. They have a voice.
Right, right. So that the same thing when you said listen, that's kind of like the biggest thing for me this year. I thought I was a listener until this year. I've
Hmm.
gotten a lot better, and I try to focus on it because I've seen such great things happen when I listen. So I'm a big believer in that. It's funny because the stake in the leadership thing that I'm in right now, they have a section called being an active listener. So it's one of the first things they roll out. They only roll out like six things, and then after the six things, they tell you to repeat. So
Yeah.
active, and you just pick on you're just picking on all the stuff that I'm going through too at the same time. So,
Right.
but all the things I said, I know it's 7:29. Really meant everything I said. I mean, the future's bright. When I look at, Shar, you, the relationships we have, I'm very excited about where things are going. And, um, uh, you know, we could have went on and talked about some other things, but man, it was just very moving when I read the interview from I Start Wondering. I don't even remember where I was. I just remember it was posted. I read it. And I was like, oh man, this is good. I said, man, I need to interview my mother-in-law. I said, she's here all the time. I see her all the time. And then I was thinking about that. And then Shar said something. You need to interview her, And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because, when, it's like a lot of times it's a confirmation. You be something be in your spirit. And the next thing you know, somebody else brings it up. And you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So really
Well,
appreciate you coming on,
well, thank you.
and look forward to the great things you're going to do ahead.
Thank
And
you.
next week, we're going to go back to our maximize today. We talked about traction. The next letter is O, so we're going to talk about what the O stands for. So I'm hoping everybody comes on next week. We'll continue that series, and I'm hoping to get that done in two more segments. Maximize today. What's that? Oh yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry
Yeah.
Christmas, Mother Brenda. Merry Christmas, everybody. Are you going to
Yeah.
type that on the screen? Yeah. Tell them Merry Christmas. I say, all right, Merry Christmas. All
Merry
right, guys.
Christmas, everybody.
All right, be intentional, focus on growth, and elevate now. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.